you had a good cry?
Me?
You.
I can't remember the last time I cried.
You really?
Men don't cry.
Men never cry.
No.
Might as well be slapped in the face and tortured before you cry.
What? Where are you going with this?
Just asking it. When's the last time you actually cried?
Christmas time.
Christmas time.
I think.
What was it about?
Oh my gosh. Can we not?
I can't ask you that?
This is very personal.
Okay. Share.
No, I think I was just overwhelmed. I remember what it was.
To a breaking point.
Yeah. And then I was very quickly humbled and nothing was a big deal except for getting Kai better.
Okay, so please do elaborate. Elaborate.
Let's go through some personal stuff.
Oh my gosh, okay. So number one, we brought in, John had gone to India and gotten a machine and brought it back for us.
Yeah.
And that machine was not working.
And the machine actually works just fine. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It was just user error.
User error.
Stupid user error. I'm an idiot, basically, is what we found out.
Which is really funny because John is very mechanically inclined.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't have sorted it out, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just at my breaking point because we had ordered first set of machinery.
It was the stress.
And then got this other one and we were all excited about it. And it didn't work again. We're like, oh my gosh. The first one, by the way, it's 100%. It doesn't work. Like it's actually it's not like
we tested it for 6 months.
Yeah, got help from the factory and all that stuff. So
yeah,
but yeah, that was the last time I cried. I think I was just overwhelmed.
I think like Fiji can break you. So
okay, when was the last time you cried, champ?
Maybe like last week, probably. I cry often, I feel like. Oh, you know what? Actually, the last time I cried, this is the worst. I can't believe I have to say this here. Okay, so in our coffee shop.
You don't have to say anything.
Okay, well, I got mad at our manager.
Oh.
For, she's the nicest person I've ever met. And I got mad at her for being ditzy. But I did it in an inappropriate way. And I wasn't even thinking. I just was like...
What does the word ditzy mean?
Means like she's being... like acting in a way that made her look like she wasn't... like, I don't...
As competent
as she is. I want to say like...
I feel like ditzy is not the right word.
She was, though. Oh. She was acting like that.
But she's not like that.
And she's not.
Right.
And I was annoyed with her. And then I was calling her out on it, but I did it publicly. And I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
And I didn't think anything of it. And then we were having a conversation. And she said to me, that was embarrassing. And I was like, like my bad. And so I just went around to all the staff. And I had to apologize to them. And then in front of a couple of them, I definitely cried when I was apologizing because I felt bad. I know.
So Fijian of you?
No, I find saying I'm sorry so embarrassing. I struggle with it. And I was like, ugh, okay, cringe. And then I started crying and then I was like, oh, I'm even more embarrassed now that I was crying. I made it doubly worse for myself. I was like, oh, okay, moving on. And now I'm never coming back to the coffee shop ever again.
Yeah, exactly. You're not allowed in there.
Yeah, it's your job. You go for it. You cry with the staff.
Yeah. Can you picture that?
Yeah. No, I can't.
No.
John's got poker face for days.
Oh, not true. Last time I cried?
Okay, wait.
Not true.
I don't know about this.
Last time I cried?
What?
Last night.
Shut up. About what? Last night? I was sleeping, for sure.
I was sitting where Tui was sitting.
Okay.
And I was watching...
rugby or something stupid? Were you crying over rugby?
No, I was crying over American Idol.
Shut up. What?
It was the Iam Tangi, his first...
oh my gosh.
And I've watched it so many times now.
Oh my gosh.
It just hit different last night. His Iam
I hope you were drinking or something. Just kidding.
Drinking water. Jeez.
Just getting in your feels over some singer?
Yeah, it was just hit different last night.
It's funny.
So he's the American Idol contestant. I think he's in the finals, right? Yeah. Top 3? Okay, sick. So he just did his homecoming thing in Hawaii, and where he came back from the Hollywood stuff, and I think they got to do like the final whatever's now that they, however that works now in American Idol. But he lost his dad like 2 months before American Idol.
Oh, this guy.
And he's just, I don't know. He's just like, you look at him and just his personality and just the aura about him is just like, oh, you just love him right away.
Also, something you guys don't know, John loves like a good depression movie or like.
What?
He loves like
when
we're like watching movies, like the sadder it is, he's like fully in. He's like, let's watch like the most like depressing show of our lives together. It's so great. Okay. And I'm like,
while you're talking about this, I gotta find that movie now.
No, please give me like a rom-com. Are you talking about the guy that has like,
yeah,
he's in the wheelchair? So there's a show like John just would love me to watch with him, and I can't. Like, it's too real. It's too sad. Like, I feel my feels. Where I feel like John loves those shows because, I don't know, you need a good cry in your life or something.
I don't know. It sounds like one of our kids just fell out of the bed.
I think Sam and I might have fallen out of bed.
Yeah, you might need to go help him.
Oh, just wait. Oh, definitely did. Okay, I'll be back.
Yeah.
You can continue.
Okay, so the movie is called Gleason, I think. One sec, guys. I'm just pulling it up here so that I can talk about it. I don't think one of the kids has fallen out of bed for a long, long time. Okay, the movie is called Gleason. And how do I give a summary of this? I wonder if there's a summary here. Okay. We're going to go to Wikipedia. Stay with me here. So, I was hoping for a better summary than that. So it's basically the story of a guy named Steve Gleason. And you guys, he was an NFL player. And he played for the New Orleans Saints. And I think he scored a huge touchdown or prevented a big touchdown, made a big play anyways, right after Hurricane Katrina, and which devastated the city of New Orleans, which is the city that their team represented, New Orleans Saints. And so he was a really famous guy. And then he got Lou Gehrig's disease, I think it was called. ALS. Yeah, which is Lou Gehrig's. And which is basically like a degenerative muscular disease of sorts. So basically, you just get worse and worse and worse, and you can't move.
Like the most depressing situation of all time.
No, it's a true story, and it's like like how
true story, all time depression.
So slowly your body starts failing. He can't walk. He can't talk. And so what he does is his wife gets pregnant like right before all this happens.
Oh, okay.
This is like the biggest spoiler alert, I guess. But it's been the movie's been out for so long. So spoiler alert in 3, 2, 1. Okay, you've been warned. And his wife is pregnant, and so the movie documents him doing all the things that he will, because the disease will kill him eventually. I think he's still alive. I have to look into that, but it will kill him eventually. So it documents him doing all the things that he would do as a dad with his future kid or with his future son. And he talks to his son because by the time his son is of the age where he can understand what his dad like wants to say to him, his dad won't be able to talk anymore. And so Steve records like messages for his kid. He takes him to like the top of his favorite mountain and shows him, the view, and does all these things that he won't ever be able to do with his kid. Yeah. Great movie.
You watched it?
Of course I watched it.
Did you?
I've watched it multiple times.
Oh my
I watched it by myself, and then I watched it with my whole family.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
I did. I can't. It's
you should watch that after this.
Oh, it's just, no, it would hurt my soul too much. I'd be so sad. It's honestly probably my greatest fear is dying like that. Oh. And then like surrounding your children, I just feel like it's too difficult.
Yeah.
I'm in for some other sorts of difficulties, but that style of difficulty is deep. Okay, I gotta move on for this. I'm feeling like, whoo.
No, he's still alive.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, record sales today at the store. We sold more than ever.
Thank you guys.
We had one slice of pizza left over for the night, and we made so many pizzas today. It was crazy. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, this podcast is sponsored by Fresh Tea and Coffee. It's in between Mombasa and Sabu Sabu. Stop over for
I need more energy
pizza.
from you.
Sorry, you told me quiet down.
I said quiet down. No, you have to lessen the energy.
All right.
It's brought to you by Fresh Tea and Coffee, guys, which is
Woohoo!
on your way to Sabu Sabu from Mombasa or vice versa.
Yeah.
And we're in Sanganga. You want to turn in the direction of the police station.
200 meters down the road.
200 meters. It's on the right side across from the primary school. And we are proudly the only place in Fiji that serves pizza by the slice.
Yes.
So you come in, pizza's displayed there. It's made fresh that morning. So if you come in, after 10, like the pizza's right there, freshly made, and you can just order by the slice. It gets re-crisped, reheated, and you can walk out after like a minute or two with pizza. And it's only $7 for a slice.
Yeah, I will have to mention, we had to up our prices just slightly by $1 this last week. We found on the days that it wasn't pay week, we were struggling to break even. And that's actually really benefited the store a lot. Even on slow, painful days, we're breaking even now.
Right.
It's something to consider. When you're running a store in a place like Sanganga, that isn't the bustling town, and we actually have so much support from people driving through.
We couldn't do it without.
No, it's crazy.
Everybody.
And so the days that are a little rough around the edges, those are where kind of we need the extra income, and we've upped it just a little bit, but it's not enough that we take it out of the price range of our regulars and our locals. And so we've tried to make sure that we've kept in the price range because it's a goal of ours is to keep it affordable. $7 still is cheaper than curry. The slice is big. So,
like everybody says they're really full after it. So
yeah, so I think that's within the range of what we're looking for, but it's something that we've had to adjust to. So, business in a small town and somewhere that's not bustling with a big population, we've really had to sort that out.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to. I think we're working towards making it a franchise. That's what we'd really love within Fiji for people that are overseas or even people here to be able to invest with us to make different franchises. And we're not sure exactly how that works.
What is a franchise?
Well, it's like McDonald's. You take a store, you replicate it throughout the community.
Yeah, so basically, if we arrange this all properly, you can come to us and you can be like, I want to buy Fresh Tea and Coffee. Where do you want to have it? Then we would ask you where you want to have it, and you would have it. Like Suva would probably be split into a few different zones. So you buy Suva zone 1 to 3, you pick your zone, or you can have all 3, or you can buy like Singatoka or something like that. Yeah. And then we would give you all the systems and procedures, all the machines that you need to buy, and the procedures on how to run them. Yeah. The training manuals, down to the personalities that you want to hire for each staff member in each position, even down to like where like all the accounts would already be set up for you with all of the different like suppliers and food brokers in Fiji. Like all the work would be done. You're buying cash flow is what you're doing. So so you can start businesses like we're doing. It takes a lot of hard work because you're paving the way, and there's no impatience, and there's no rule book. There's no this is the right way to do it because it hasn't been done. So we're trying to figure out how to do it so that you guys can, or people can come to us, and it's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you good money to buy a franchise, but if you put that cash down, you're buying cash flow. Yeah. So.
Well, and like you look at, we've seen some people like even ginger farming, let's say. A gentleman last year told us, he put $80,000 into his ginger farm, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And he's had, I think, 0 return.
Yeah.
On his money, and that's something within this country. I think like if you don't understand cultural context, you don't understand society as a whole, you don't understand business in a deep level, you will struggle. We're struggling. I feel like we have that like 50% under control. And I think it's something that you need to be able to be slapped down so many times here and be able to persevere through it. And I think for us, we look at it and go, there's actually a lot of people that want to come back to Fiji. So why don't we put that opportunity out to them and make it easier for them to survive here, to thrive here, to do something that they feel like is giving them good return, is giving them something to be excited about, and then they can live the life that they want to live here. You know, without the stress of trying to innovate, trying to do something new, trying to do something from the ground up.
Yeah.
So we'd like to expand beyond fresh tea and coffee. We've got some business stuff in the works. But right now, this is what we're starting with. I think it's great. And I think everybody in Fiji, they love pizza. So that's why we went with that. But I think it's just an interesting concept for everybody to explore. And, you know, we're going to be nailing down. We actually have someone that possibly will invest with us for our first store outside of the one we've started. But we're trying to get all the details down before we go for that. Time is ticking, so we got to get that done. But yeah.
Why were you thinking about people crying earlier? What made you think of that?
I was thinking about like your lives that you were doing and how.
So I've been, what she's talking about live, she's talking about, I've been going live on YouTube every day for the last 2 weeks, I think, me and Tui. I've been doing what we're calling On the Mat with Jonathan Bhatti. And so we just talk about current events, my opinion on the things that are going on in the South Pacific and Fiji, and some random funny stuff from around the world. So we keep it light, and then you can get to know me a little bit. Ask questions, I answer the questions, and we kind of have a good back and forth banter going on with people. So that's been fun. So that's the lives that Stephanie's referring to.
Yeah, in one of your lives, you guys were talking about mental health.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking like, yeah, like, and it was specifically in men's mental health. And so I was thinking about like, okay, so when you're talking about mental health in men don't typically cry a lot. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that you don't cry often? I feel like I cry at least, I'm not like a big crier, so I probably have like a good cry once a month. And I think I'm like not.
I bet you that's a big crier compared to people in Fiji.
That's a big crier for someone in Fiji, maybe.
I just assume, but I don't know.
I think like compared to women maybe in Canada, I think I cry a little bit less.
Yeah?
I think if I get put under high stress situations where it's very personal to me, I cry. But I don't cry often. Where I've got some girlfriends that cry often.
Yeah.
So I would say I solidly cry.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm going to ask. I have like a standing weekly or bi-weekly phone call with one of my best friends from back in Canada.
Okay.
I feel like that'd be a great question.
Which is what?
Talk about. Like, when was the last time you cried?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems to be like a good opener.
When's the last time you cried, and what did you cry about?
Yeah.
What was it? Right? I think that's great. I think, like, for me, I hate crying. I don't know what it is. I hate it. And when I cry, typically, it's because, like, I have to admit something that bothers me, or I'm so angry that I cry.
Right.
I cry at, like, the height of my emotion. I don't normally cry over... Like, I'll tear up. I don't consider that crying. I'll, like, tear up at sad things.
Yeah, maybe that's what I did last night on the couch.
But I'll,
like,
I'll really cry. Like, I'll have, like, that ugly crying face when I feel at the brink of my emotions.
Right.
And normally that's, like, admitting, like, failure or some sort of weakness. I think that's normally my trigger.
Yeah. I think I was actually talking with my dad today, and we were talking about, again, I don't know why it's coming up so much. Maybe it's because Tui's living with us now. But mental and he's got so many issues. So yeah, we
wow,
hear him cry.
Poor
he
guy.
cries himself to sleep every night.
Oh my gosh, poor guy. Okay, I'm gonna clarify for his sanity that he is great and it has emotional depth and thinks that it's something that we should talk about as a society and as men. And
we as men?
No,
you just said we
guys,
as men.
sorry, you guys as men, but like people in general within Fiji. Right. So I think that that's a great thing. I don't think. Be careful what you say. How no, rude.
So me and Dad are talking today, and I think we've actually already covered this on a previous episode, but about like how like revealing or like being emotional or talking about your feelings, like it didn't get you anywhere. Like it didn't you just had to be ready to provide for your family and protect yourself from like other attacking clans or tribes and stuff like that. Like up until very recently, like within the last couple hundred years, that is very recent as far as like humanity the history of humanity, like the last 200 years. Like that's crazy. So we're still so close to like absolute like, like jungle life, cannibalism,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So like up until recently, like it didn't do like, why are we talking about my feelings, dude? It doesn't even matter how I feel because like I just have to do this stuff.
Survival is more important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now we're at a point where like, what is that saying? Hard times or soft men make hard times make hard men. How does that go again?
Okay, say that again.
That's a saying.
Soft times make soft men.
Easy times make soft men make hard times make something.
I don't know.
Have you heard that?
But it makes sense to me. I think like society, the thing is right now, currently, life is so easy. So why would you not have men that are soft and women that are allowing their children to be soft? And life is not difficult. Life is very easy currently.
Here it is. Hard times create strong men.
Okay.
Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. And then we're back into the cycle. So, yeah. Should I say it again?
No. Sure.
Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. And so I think we're kind of in like we had a lot of strong men that created good times for us. That was probably like my grandfather and father, like the generation before us.
Yeah.
And now we're in weak men creating hard times.
So what's the definition of a weak man? What do you view that as? What is your, like, what's a weak man to you?
A weak man is like somebody who's like a guy who's like too sympathetic for too many things and not able to be unapologetically like themselves and like have an opinion and stand for it. And like, that's what you think. This is what I think. And that's fine. But like, I don't have to appease every new movement. I don't have to appease you politically. We can agree to disagree. What I do for my family or for my wife or for my kids, And like at no cost will I sacrifice what I believe or what needs to get done to make sure that like you're happy.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. Like I would look at a weak man as like a passive man.
Right.
In the sense that like
that's pretty tough though.
No, just listen to the explanation.
Yeah, like you have to listen to this explanation because I would disagree with that statement.
Okay, just listen.
Yeah.
I am not a passive woman. Okay? I consider myself a pretty strong personality and woman. And I do not look at you as a passive man. However, you are a fairly gentle man in the sense of like, you allow me to have
also called me a gentleman.
Yeah, you're welcome. Gospel, it does dual things for you. Yeah. You allow me to have a strong personality. You allow me to have a say. But I will say, when it comes to things like being tough with our boys or certain things that you hold value in and you're very strong opinionated in, like right and wrong or whatever,
Right.
you hold very strongly to those things. And I have to kind of I need to back down. And I feel that.
You got to know your place, right?
Oh, shush. All right. All right. I'm in for a good fight. Let's not get me wrong. I like a good go.
Right.
If we're going to fight, we're really going to fight.
You always lose, but
90% of the time, let's be real.
yeah. Okay,
all right.
fine, whatever.
Happy wife, happy life.
Sure.
But at the same time, I know when there's certain things, I really do know there's certain things where I'm like, okay, this is never going to go my way. I just need to let it go. Because these are things that are like hard and fast for you. And they're not normally like I don't know how to say it. Like they're not normally like a life-changing thing. They're normally just like a thing where you're like, no, I am going to be hard on our kids. And you're going to let me do that. They're things that are difficult for me. But they're things that, like, in the background of my mind, I know that they're good for our kids. It's just hard for me.
Right.
Like, I'm like, can you not be so hard on them? You know, like.
Well, even with our, I guess I see what you're saying. Like, even with our kids, I'm like, we don't do that in our family.
Yeah.
We don't lie. My kids don't lie. I don't lie. We don't lie. That's not what we do.
Yeah,
you know?
and you're really strict with those certain things.
Right.
And I hold respect for you because of that. And I think, like, on the other things that don't matter so much in life, like what restaurant are we going to or blah, blah, you allow me to have a strong opinion in those things.
Well, it's really like, do you want to go to Color Dragon or Hare Krishna?
Well,
that's not really.
But you know, but no matter what, I think, like, we have a good balance of, like, I have a strong opinion. And then I also see the boundary of you leading our family in certain things that are needed. And so I think, like, a weak man is always a passive man in everything, in every aspect. And a woman such as myself can squash that man and belittle them and make them into nothing.
Help me.
Yeah. I can. I think I can eat a man alive if, like, I have a very big personality, so I think I can crush somebody underneath me. And I think it's good to have that balance of, like, yeah, it's totally cool, honey. Do as you do until there's a moment of, like, no, this will not stand in our house. And I think that's great. I think that's a good thing for a man to have in, like, a leadership aspect of, like, okay, this is a boundary for me. And, like, we will not go beyond that. Because I think it actually grows a respect level. Right. And I think for us, I think, like, something within our lives, like, I have a lot of respect for you biblically. I think, like, your leadership in church and all those kind of things. I think that is more important to me than anything. And I think that's a great foundation for marriage. I think that's a great foundation for us we have that in common. And I have respect for you in that. And I think most men, to me, this is my opinion, I think if a man has respect from their wife in a biblical sense, they lead their family biblically and morally and all that kind of stuff, I think that's more respectful than anything. If they can hold those standards.
Right.
Like, to me, I'm like, yeah, that's so manly. That's what I should respect.
Yeah. I had somebody walk up to me this week. They're like, man, was there a Jay-Z song written about you? I'm like, I don't know. Why? They're like, no, like, this is lyrics like, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
Okay, shut up. Nobody believes that.
What?
All y'all put in the comments and be like, shut up, John. That's such a lie. Okay, I just said, I respect you for your godliness and like, holy art thou. And then you're like, just lying to everybody. So rude. I can't believe you just did that to me. Might as well slap me in the face. So rude.
Yeah, actually, I heard a pastor, his name is Mark Driscoll this week. He was talking about, somebody asked him a question. What? I'm not a businessman. Yeah. I'm a businessman.
Or the pastor.
Like, you're like, he's not like a guy who does business. Like, he is business.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
I'm not a
honey.
businessman.
Yeah.
I'm a businessman.
Yeah. And did the pastor say the same thing about you too?
Actually, it's crazy because Mark Driscoll was talking about me.
Yeah, he was like, Jonathan
Crazy.
Batty is not a businessman. He's a businessman.
Okay, the cadence is way off. Just
Nobody said I was a rapper, man.
yeah, obviously we can all see that.
All right. Oh my gosh.
No, he was. So somebody asked him a question about like dating somebody who isn't a Christian.
Okay.
Like, excuse me.
Bless you.
Somebody who's a Christian dating non-Christian, and he was saying that how can you? He said a lot of good things in the answer, but the one thing that stood out to me is like, if God is love, how can somebody who does not know God love you? Because true love comes from the Father, or comes from God. And so everybody has different opinions on this, and there are people who are not Christians who have very successful relationships and they love each other very, very much.
Yeah.
But there will always be something missing that like I have with you that people who don't know God or haven't accepted that Jesus is the way to heaven, they'll never get that. They'll never share that. So they can love as much as man knows how to love. But God created love. So to know him is to know love. Does that make sense?
I think it gives you like an unspoken bond. Like the moments that are rough, the moments that are tragic, and you're like, we should not be together anymore. Mm-hmm. You have God's grace and God's love to put on you to love that person. So like something we were learning a couple weeks ago in Bible study was talking about like put the love of God in yourself.
Right.
Put his love on you so you can love other people. And I think like you're able to do that for your spouse, and other people as well, obviously. But I think that's something that like, if you align in that, you can always like, for me, like when there's moments where I deeply hate you, like I feel like resent to you and I feel angry with you, I also then have to view you through the love of Jesus and go, yeah, my husband's imperfect and I need to still love him and forgive him and move on from this. Like this is not what Christ wants for us.
Put on his love.
And so I have to put on his love for you and see you through different lenses and move on from that.
It's like I heard it once said, a lot of us, like, with the armor of God.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of us put on the helmet of salvation and that's it. And we just run around naked with a helmet of salvation.
Yeah, that's right.
Like there's nothing else
Just
on.
a bunch of nudists.
Bunch of just
biblical nudists
running around. Just streaking out here.
Yeah.
Just streaking with the helmet of salvation.
I think
and
it's
nothing
easy to
else.
do. It's like our kids running down to the river tonight. They decide to go skinny dipping.
Yeah. I know. That was random.
Yeah. So funny.
I was like walking behind them with a flashlight. I'm like, dang. Well,
so tan and just a bunch of glowing white buttocks.
I know, right?
Oh
I know.
my
I know.
goodness.
So your mom and dad are in Toronto right now?
Yeah, pardon me, my parents are on the other side of Canada.
Yeah.
Currently. I haven't been
Did they
there.
go to a Blue Jays game?
Yeah, they did.
Sick.
Yeah. It's my
I'm
mom's
so jealous of that.
59th birthday. She's got a year left to 60. She looks great. Like
That's crazy.
I know.
Dude, how did she feel about that? Did you ask her?
Oh, she was like, I'm
Can you put her on blast at her?
I'm so depressed. And I told her, I'm like, look, you haven't even had to have Botox yet. You're doing good.
Right?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm like,
That's crazy.
yeah, I know.
Your mom looks so pretty for her age.
Yeah, she's doing great. So some hopefully good genes. We'll see.
Yeah.
My mother is one of
Not the denim.
Huh?
Never mind.
Oh, I see. Oh my goodness, you're getting like such dad jokes. Like, oh my gosh, get over yourself.
I'm excited to go back to Canada though.
Yeah, we're going in July. John's going for 4 weeks. I'm going for 5 or 6.
Yeah, I gotta come back early for a guy's trip. Big multi-island hopping adventure.
You do?
I don't know. I'm just saying it right now. I'm gonna speak it into existence.
I'm like, I haven't heard about this. And this is not the reason you said you were coming back. You said it was too long last time.
Yeah, last time was too long.
I
Like when
couldn't
you leave
catch
for
up.
so long. I'm not excited to leave because I want to get out of here. I'm excited because we're going on a big fishing trip with our family.
Your parents.
Yeah. Which I'm... Why'd you have to say it like that?
Well, our family
Yeah.
doesn't specify which family.
Oh, I see. But you just said like your parents.
Well, it is your parents.
Oh, okay.
And my parents are my
Are you not
parents.
as excited as I am?
No, I'm definitely not as excited. I like the idea of like going to a cabin. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like it's not my style of camping. It's cabin camping.
Right.
Like, if I'm going camping, I don't know why. I really like roughing it. I like a tent. I like a good old campfire.
No toilet?
Well, I don't... No, the toilet situation is great.
Yeah, you like having a toilet?
I like having a toilet.
How about that one lake we used to go to with the toilet up on the cliff?
Oh.
So somebody hauled... Well, it wasn't a toilet. It was just a toilet seat.
I never used that toilet. It was too exposed.
It was delightful.
John used that toilet a lot. It had
Yeah.
big views up on a cliff.
Yeah, somebody put this toilet seat on just a handmade box up on this cliff overlooking this like emerald blue lake.
Yeah.
And actually, if you look at it, look up Bluey Lake in British Columbia, Bluey, and you'll see the color of the lake. It was just like the most beautiful thing.
Actually, let's talk about this time. So one time I was cleaning house. As I think most of you know, we own a cleaning business. We used to do a lot of the cleaning. I was doing a move-out clean. And unfortunately, this house had a lot of cat urine. Okay? Cat urine can cause a lot of sickness. And that evening I had what we call the Norwalk flu, where you're like vomiting and you have diarrhea.
Yeah.
And John and our friends...
You're being so lame.
Yeah, they were like, we need to go camping. And I was like, crap in my pants. I was throwing up. And they're like, you're being so lame. We need to go camping still. And I'm trying to be like a go-getter, have fun. And I was like, okay, we can go as long as we go somewhere that has at least an outhouse. Minimum.
Did it?
No,
Oh.
John, it did not.
Dude, the fishing was good though.
Yeah, nobody gives a rip.
Fishing
Okay,
was
so
good.
back in the day when we went camping, we had our vehicle, which was a truck
Or a van.
with a bed. Like, what do you call those?
It was a Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah, and
With
it
a
had
box
a
or a
box.
tray or whatever.
And we used to put a mattress in the back with a big, like, I don't know, piece of wood through the back window and a tarp over it.
Yeah.
So that was our camping style for like 3 years. And so we're out there camping with our friends, and there's just like the great outdoors. And I just remember being like,
It was the best because they had a truck, we had a truck, and so we backed the two trucks like against each other. So basically, if you put the tailgates down, it was like one big like bed. So they were like had a mattress in the back of their truck. We had a mattress in the back of our truck. We had this tarp like over us. It was so fun. It was the best.
I like have good memories of this, but at the same time, I also remember, like, yeah, it was not cool. You guys tricked me into coming when I was sick, and
What?
I resent it a little bit. But
That was fun though. Those are the things that like you don't realize. Like there's so many things that, especially in that stage of life. Like now we're in a different stage. Like we're parents. We do things many, many times, you know, over and over again.
yeah,
But like, you never know. Like if you're a young kid listening to this, or if you're a young adult, if you're in college, like, or you're wondering if you should go do that thing, it's like that might be the last time you ever do it.
yeah, I just have to
Like-
go and do.
Like go do.
I will
like-
say, like, though, kids don't have to change everything. Like, 6 days after I had a leaky, I should not have been leaving the house. I had a lot of damage to my body, but I remember still being like, yeah, I'm going camping. Children will not stop me in life.
No, but I'm just saying the experience changes drastically when you take kids, say camping.
Oh, heck yeah.
But
But
like,
I think if you push through those hard years of camping with children, you'll just continue on. I think as you get older, you get lazy, and tough is not something that you're interested in doing anymore. And when you stop camping with your kids, you're not going to continue because it's too tough.
yeah,
I think you just have to go for it and just endure the tough, and eventually it'll be enjoyable because your kids will be used to it.
yeah,
And I don't know, like, that's funny. Like, the context within Fiji doesn't translate because I feel like we're camping all the time. You don't
Like
think?
just permanently in the wilderness.
Well, if you guys could hear the crickets, maybe you can.
Frogs.
Frogs.
Yeah.
It's very loud with the animal noises.
Yeah.
There's no screening on the windows, so the animals come and go in our house as they please. I have to block my drink from having gecko poop in it. I even was telling the guys tonight at dinner that like I had a gecko poop in I think it was my coffee, and I took a deep swig of it and sucked that gecko poop down, and it was like, oh, what is that? And then I have the worst gag reflex. So I was just gagging and trying not to vomit, but yeah, it was not good. Or I've had like I was making pasta and I was pouring it out in the sink and the steam made a gecko unstick from the roof and the gecko was like rolling around in the pasta noodles. And I was like, oh,
it's disgusting.
Die like a
Tui
thousand.
had the best story though.
Tui had a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was it?
Can we retell that story?
Yeah. Okay.
I think you were in school. Yeah. At USB. Yeah, and like they're doing like
drinking
crushing,
tea.
Huh? Yeah, crushing like a long study session, just like tea after tea after tea, coffee, and this like an electric kettle, and then finally like towards the end of the session or the evening or whatever, like the guy popped the lid on the kettle and there's like 3 geckos.
Yeah, just going for the refill of water in the electric kettle to reboil it, and there's 3 geckos just boiled alive, and they're just drinking that gecko skin.
Did you feel sick after that? No. Okay. I guess you're boiling it, right? So you're killing the bacteria.
Just like a little gecko juice for you.
But you didn't taste that it was weird.
They probably felt so energized, like brilliance. Maybe it's like Spider-Man. You know, like that gecko energy. So gross. The best thing ever in our house is John's uncle that lives with us. He keeps pretending to eat small geckos in front of the kids, and the kids are fully in.
What's going on right now?
Yeah. They think that Cuckoo is always eating geckos, and they're like, "Mom, Cuckoo, he ate a gecko."
Boy, like so, like every day now. Boy, Cuckoo main boy. Eh? Cuckoo main boy.
Yeah.
Main boy. Like so, main boy is the protagonist in a movie. Like that's the main character.
He
and
is
so
the main man.
To be the protagonist
eating geckos
is like the best thing ever. So, Cuckoo is the main boy of life.
Because
so
he
eats geckos.
You know, it's like
boy,
my dad as a kid.
Boy.
Like when I was a kid, he used to pretend to take like a popcorn string, which is what you decorate your Christmas tree with.
Right.
Like string out popcorn on like a sewing needle and string. And then he used to somehow pretend to put it through his belly button, out his mouth. And like, I was fully in.
What?
I remember thinking he did that 100%. I don't know.
I've never heard about this.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, dude, you got some skills.
you a bit.
I was small.
Yeah, okay.
My dad's a magician.
Yeah.
Can't even say it. Yeah, anyway, my dad loved that kind of stuff. That is so funny.
I'm sure your dad is a huge child.
My father is a huge child, and I love it. My dad as a kid would bring home just like inflatable toys or like what do you call those, laser guns. My dad used to be a youth pastor for like 35 years or something. So he loves toys. Him and his friend, they didn't have enough money coming from the church to sponsor all the events they wanted to do with the youth group, so they started sewing inflatable equipment such as
huge giant slides,
like bouncy castles and different big slides. They made a carnival amount so they could rent it out to different churches and different cities and things like that to fund all the youth programs they wanted to. So my dad would bring home new different inflatable toys, and then with that money they bought laser guns and different sick things. So we had a pretty cool youth group because they just funded all of it. You had the coolest
childhood, like having to man all of those events. I'm sure that was awesome.
Yeah, and like my dad's just
such
a big child, and he loves it, and he still does, and I love that about him. I think it's great.
Yeah, he's another one that they say he's not a businessman, he's a businessman.
Yeah,
he would make he would actually make a great businessman.
Yeah. Well, I was seeing this at Bible study the other day. Like, yeah, my parents are a unique brand of people. Like, they are so fully into ministry that they struggle to make money because everything they invest in goes back to the church or goes back to ministry. Like, they bought a waterfront, lakefront property. They put a riverfront. Sorry, riverfront. You're right. It's really great. And they put like a tiny little cabin tent thing on it. And then they're renting it out for a little bit. And then all of a sudden they turned it into a children's Bible camp.
Yep.
And I was like, guys, I thought for once you guys were going to make money off
like
this
an investment
place.
Property.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, all right, we've got something here. Like when you guys retire, this is it. And then all of a sudden it's just back to ministry, which is beautiful about them.
Yeah, like I've thought about that before. Like one day we all stand before the Father.
Yeah.
We have to answer for all the decisions that we've made. And it's like, is he going to say like, well done, good and faithful servant? Or is he going to say like, well done, but you could have done a lot more with what I gave you, you know? And so like I think about that all the time. Like it makes me want to steward things well.
Yeah.
I just think like this is our lane, and I don't know, I don't feel like we would have this revelation to like be here in Fiji and doing the things we're doing, and so like I'm not against doing things in ministry or playing a very vital role in ministry.
Yeah.
Like now, in the future, and forever. Like that's the most important thing to me. Like if it was like right now, you have to shut down all your businesses, or one person can get to know Jesus, who wouldn't? I'd pick one person. I mean, that's just, that's such an easy decision for me. Such an easy decision. But like, I think that honest Christian business people can change the world. And so I think we can do it using social media.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we've got big plans.
And that's the end of this podcast. It was brought to you guys by Fresh
that's not
Tea
true.
and Coffee.
Don't listen to him.
It's not the end of this podcast.
I've got a great Bible verse for you guys today.
Sure.
I love this one. It's my favorite thing I've found ever.
Yeah, what was this about? You're just going on about
I'm not
this.
kidding. I saw it on Instagram, so I cheated. Where is it? Okay. I'll read you 16 and 17, but it's really 17.
Of what?
There's the bomb.
16 and 17 of...
It's Proverbs 25. And I thought it was a joke. I was like, no way, it says this in the Bible. I just thought it was funny. Maybe I'm in a weird mood, but it tickled me pink. It says, if you find honey, eat just enough. Too much of it, and you will vomit. Okay, and this is the better part. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house. Too much of you, and they will hate you. And I was laughing at it because I'm like, man, like the Bible gives you some biblical truth and wisdom. Like, don't bother your neighbor too much. Don't be there too much, or they will hate you. And I thought that was so funny. It's so true. And I was like, wow, I love how they talk about don't eat too much honey, don't have too much sugar, don't do all that kind of stuff. It will make you sick. And then it's talking about, and don't bug your neighbor too much in the context of Fiji. Don't carry your neighbor too much, or don't go over there and gossip too much, or don't be there too much, or they will end up hating you.
Yeah.
Have a good relationship with them. And I was just laughing. Like, I always say, my mom always told me, the Bible is a guideline for your life. It is telling you this is how you live your most beautiful life. This is what I intended your life to look like. And in Proverbs, it's stating some pretty simple facts about life. And I was like, boom, this is so funny. This is so simple and yet so true.
I heard something about, speaking, if we're going to talk about Proverbs. So this wasn't what I was going to talk about the Bible.
Okay.
But Proverbs chapter, just about like how relevant the Bible is. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11. So apparently like the Bible mentions like money like more than 2,300 times.
Really?
Yeah, like it's one of the most like talked about things. So in Proverbs 13:11 it says, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." So it was just funny. Like the guy I heard talking about this was talking about like how hastily like all these crypto bros made all this money.
Yep.
And how fast, just as fast, the money went away.
Yeah.
And like how, so his thing was like he doesn't invest, or he doesn't do anything in crypto because it doesn't feel like it follows like the suggested like rules, or not the rules, but like this is how best to live your life, like what you're saying about the Bible and how to take it as like an instruction guide to like, yeah, the Old Testament is, you know, pre-Jesus. It's during the time of the law when we had to follow all the rules to get to heaven. You know, then Jesus came and freed us from that. But like the law still applies. Like it's still all good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all still true. And so he's like, he doesn't believe that like crypto lined up with the way that scriptures or the Bible says like money should be gained. So he didn't do it. Like, oh, that's an interesting take. Because I believe like the best way to make money is make it fast, as fast as you can. Like people always like, don't get rich. Like there's no get rich quick. It's like, well, getting rich quick, how can that be bad? But it's true. It doesn't really work out for a lot of people.
Well, you don't learn the hard lessons.
Yeah.
You spend it quickly.
Lotteries, right?
Lottery. You go broke fast because you're like, oh, I've always wanted to do this, and you just spend your money on the whim.
Yeah.
And then you lose it.
What was the verse of the day today? But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit, this is Acts chapter 1, right? Yeah, Acts chapter 1, verse 8, comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. So this Acts chapter 1 is when Jesus ascends back to heaven. He's like, don't worry, I'm going to come back. Or the angels, I think the two angels that come down, they're like, don't worry, he's going to come back in the same way that he left, which is descending into heaven. And then because Judas, the guy who gave up Jesus to the Roman centurions or the Roman soldiers, killed himself, he threw himself headlong into a field and all his guts burst out all over the field. And that
so morbid
field, I know I'm a nerd like this, was called Akeldama. This means field of blood. That is a name that I've never heard since that. You hear a lot of like random names, like Matthias. I have a friend named Matthias, and I'm often reminded when I read the scripture, I'm like, oh yeah, Matthias is like the 13th disciple, or the 12th disciple, sorry. So it's funny. So because Judas, one of the 12, commits suicide, they have to find somebody to replace. I don't know what the significance, and it might actually be in the Bible. I'm saying I don't know. What is the significance of the 12 disciples? Because it comes down to Joseph, who they called Barsabas, or Matthias. And Matthias, sorry. Not or. It was, they said and. But they were like, show, Lord, you know everyone's heart. I'm reading this. Show us which of these two you have chosen to take over this apostolic ministry, which Judas left to go where he belongs. And so they're like, please help us to pick one. And it sounds like they never ended up being able to pick one, because after praying, then they cast lots, and the lot fell to Matthias. So he was added to the 11 apostles.
And that's what I loved about the verse, is like they pretty much played rock, paper, scissors.
That's my take.
Or what did they say in Fijian? Like, or they say something else, not rock, paper, scissors, but
Hey, what is it, T? What is like the boys, they play it like 100 times a day? Like the sapui. My sapui. Like everything they sapui.
yeah.
And so like,
So that's
like,
how they pick the 12th.
I'm gonna make a tweet tomorrow. I think, but like next time you think like rock paper scissors isn't serious, it's how they decided the last disciple.
I love it.
Basically, that's what happened.
It.
They tossed dice. They tossed instruments that they flipped a coin, like something that just helped them make the decision because they couldn't make it.
Chance.
So like, God, we're gonna do this. Okay, boys, rock paper scissors. Whoever wins, you're on the team.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to the simple things. I think to me it was like sometimes decisions are like you don't actually know. Yeah.
Like, and you don't. So like sometimes flip the freaking coin. Because you know what? There's a lot of people who try to sound smart, like us sometimes. I don't know. But like a lot of the decisions that we've made in life are like
dumb.
Not dumb, but it's like I don't know what's the better decision here. I don't know. You do all of the research, all of the analysis, and like there seems to be a lot of advantages for this one, but also like some very serious disadvantages and risks. And so it's like, oh, screw it, rock paper scissors, or like, hey, let's just go with this. Let's fail fast, roll the dice, fail small, and then we'll try it again. But like roll the dice, as we say. And they're just like, all right, let's roll the dice. And it's like, sometimes you just got to roll the dice. You just got to sapui. Really? Yeah. Do your research. If you still can't decide, sapui.
All right.
We love you guys.
We're going to pull out a card game quickly.
I don't have a card game.
It's right there. It's right beside you. I can see it.
Where?
John's just pretending like it's not around.
Oh, jeez.
Tui is excellent. He set it up. He's ready for you. Don't worry. He knows what's happening.
Have you played this at all this week? No.
We gave it to Tui. We said, hey, play it with somebody that...
guy friends.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no. Sorry, Tui. We're going to expose you right now. You have a girlfriend. He said play with your girlfriend. Not going to throw you under the bus like that. So, anyway.
I thought you were going to go play with one of our Taos who are here in the village right now.
Just getting personal. Some men's mental health over here. This one is the relationship version. At least, bring in the friendship version. How rude.
Oh, okay. Here we go. We'll go to level 3. Oh,
Tui's just dag rise across the way. Sorry, Tui. It's John's fault. Blame him. Hate him. Not me.
So this game is called We're Not Really Strangers, and this is the couples edition.
All right.
This question. How have you seen me grow in this relationship?
I've seen you grow. You first.
Me first?
Yeah. Oh, wait. I've got it. Okay. I'll go first.
Go then.
I have seen you grow in the sense of you have more flexibility into jumping into situations.
Right.
Even the fact that we were able to move to Fiji, I feel like is you being flexible and not having to be so planned out.
Right.
You jumping into new business ideas, those kind of things.
Right.
You're such a perfectionist that normally the details have to be so aligned and your T's have to be crossed and your I's have to be dotted. And you've just taken a lot more risks as we get older.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I've seen you grow.
Thank you. I guess that's it.
Well,
just kidding. No.
Wow.
I've seen you grow.
Your facial hair has grown.
Sure. Sure.
Go on.
We'll stop with that.
We'll go on from there.
Okay. I think you've grown in the way that, it would have been hard to. I feel like you're better at apologizing than you were when we first met. And
I say sorry sometimes.
Yeah.
Good job, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're quicker to admit, or to try to, come to a resolution by, putting yourself on the chopping block, which helps our relationship because, it usually means that if you own something, or you might not be the source, you might not be the cause of the problem, but if you own something within the situation, usually it opens up doors to healing and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm terrible at that. I will say.
But you're better than you used to be.
I'm better than I used to be. I hate saying sorry, and John has always led our relationship in apologies. That was really needed. I hate saying sorry, so if I can avoid it, I will. I have been working on that, so thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah.
What's that country song? And I ain't as good as I once was.
Tight jeans, long road,
I got
old dogs.
I ain't as good as I once was, but I was as good once as I ever was.
Never knew. That sounded so off key.
No, that's good. That's how
and
it
we're
goes.
gonna leave it there for tonight. John can't sing tonight. Normally he has a better pitch. Don't judge him. Have a good night, you guys.
Peace.
Bye.